the time of pandemic, will we humans learn? This theme is a concern which is both urgent and existential. Recent events from bushfires in Australia, Brazil, to locust infestations in East Africa, and now the COVID pandemic demonstrates the deep interdependence of humans and the webs of life in which they exist. The food we eat, the air we breathe, and the water we drink, and of course, the climate of ours makes our planet so very livable. And all this comes from nature. Nature is a giver. Despite all the benefits that we are getting today, we are ill treating it. So that is why we justify the observance of World Environment Day. Bal Bhuvan Public School is indeed fortunate to have amongst us Mr. Gyaneshwar. Mr. Gyaneshwar is a passionate herpetologist ever since he was a child. He has finished his undergraduate in wildlife biology and is currently working as assistant coordinator at the Madras Crocodile Bank Trust. He works on reducing snake bite conflicts. He has worked extensively in wildlife conservation, conducted a lot of nature trails and nature conservation campaigns, and is also internationally recognized as the youth leader for the organization Youth for Wildlife Conservation. Taking our discussion forward, I now request Mr. Gyaneshwar to introduce our star panelists, and we will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. It's my privilege to be here to speak and discuss with such young minds. Uh, as a child, I always wanted to be a part of a lot of conferences, meetings where I could voice out my opinions. Looking at the youth now and the responsibilities that they have taken up, I feel proud to have such students as my panelists today to discuss on a very important topic called the environment. Okay, may I request student panelists to introduce themselves? Kushi, please can you begin?
My heartful greetings to everyone. I am Khushi Jha of class 9th and I am very glad to be a part of this session. Being an art lover, I would like to share you a painting made by me. This painting shows each environmental issue which our Mother Earth is facing. Every year, our school organizes various activities and various events to celebrate the World Environment Day. But this time, we are doing something really very different. So, I hope that this session adds a very good experience and learning in our lives. Thank you.
Hello everyone and happy World Environment Day. Myself Surya Thakur from class 9 and I would only say that I'm glad to be part of this event. Coming to the topic, I would say that we humans tend to confine our environment into a particular space, but I would share an image which will show that the environment is something which cannot be confined. This image this image tells us that how we cannot confine our environment at all. Howsoever, we could just keep developing along with taking care of our environment. Thanks a lot.
Biodiversity starts in the distant past and it points towards the future. Greetings, everyone. Passionate about poems and ambitious about art. It's Gauri Vadera from class 10. It feels great to be a panelist here and sitting here at home, yet contributing towards the environment. I would like to thank my school for giving me such a great opportunity. Nice to meet you all and happy Environment Day.
It's not yours. It's not mine. It's ours. So protect your mother who nourishes you. A warm and healthy evening to respected Ganeshwar sir, teachers, parents, and my fellow mates. My name is Keshav Suyal and I study in 10th standard. I have actively participated in the campaigns and the competitions organized by our school towards the conservation and preservation of our biodiversity. And today, on this wonderful day of World Environment Day, I am very thankful to our principal sir and all the other teachers who made it possible for us to be a part of this webinar. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I would like to wish you all a very happy World Environment Day. I am Tanvi Bisht. I study in 11th standard, and I'm deeply grateful to be a part of this panel discussion. I have been participating in the school campaigns which encourage people to be more environment friendly and play their part in making the world a safer place for every species. And I feel that there is nothing more important than air, water, soil, biodiversity, and energy, because these are the things which keep us alive. And we all, at individual levels, can play a significant role in making our planet a better place for everyone. As Mahatma Gandhi ji has said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you.
Happy Environment Day to everyone. I am Shivansh Tuteja of class 11, and since my childhood I have been very keen interested in nature photography and nature conservation. I always believed that earth do not belong to any solitary species and every organism on earth has an equal right over the planet. And today I am deeply grateful to our school for selecting me as a panelist for today's panel discussion on this auspicious occasion of World's Environment Day. Thank you.
For a long time now, we thought we ruled, taking for granted the world's endo, acting upon our thought needs unschooled. And he watched this all with a sigh, wondering why and how. For we were all supposed to qualify. And now that he has had enough, he's gonna make us all bow. A very good evening to everyone today. Myself, Anandi Singh. I am a class 12 student and I'm really glad that I got this opportunity to be a panelist in today's panel discussion. It is said that a mistake you make twice isn't a mistake but a decision. I believe that in today's discussion, we'll be able to look upon to the decisions that we have made and masked as our mistakes. I'm really glad for my teachers and the school who has provided me with such a great opportunity.
A very warm and pleasant good evening to all my dear mates and our today's guest, Mr. Gyanesh Vasant. Hello sir, I'm Ashman Bali, student of Standard 12. Today on the World's Environment Day, I want to tell some eye-opening facts. Biodiversity is the variety and variance of species living all together on this planet Earth. About 8 million species have already recorded, but the worldwide disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in numerous impacts on the environment and the climate. This tyrannous outbreak has also provided cover for illegal activities such as deforestation of the Amazon rainforest, poaching in Africa, and hindered environmental diplomacy efforts. So we must apply our concerted efforts to protect our precious Mother Earth as soon as possible as well as early as possible, so that we in the future do not regret that we did nothing. Sir, I also want to say something that progress is impossible without change, and those who can't change their minds can't change anything. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear panelists, for your wonderful introduction and your insights into what environment is. Now, I may introduce you to the program. We will have a presentation that I will conduct, followed by a group discussion with the panelists and their insights into the current situation we are at. The presentation will be about, the presentation and the discussion will be about the World Environment Day, the biodiversity, and the pandemic we are at right now. And will we as humans ever learn through this pandemic? Post discussion, we will have a 5-minute time slot for answering the questions that audience have sent us, followed by a vote of thanks. Now, if you may permit, I will begin my presentation. So, World Environment Day 2020. This year, the World Environment Day is supposed to be held at Columbia, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic we're at, but because of the situation we are at, we're unable to have this as a live event. However, World Environment Day is was first initiated in 1972. Was first initiated in the 1972 at the United Nations General Assembly, and which was carried out by other secretariats and other panels later on. Every year, World Environment Day has a theme, and this year our theme is biodiversity. It may question you what biodiversity is. Bio, which means life, and diversity, which is a huge combination of life forms. Biodiversity provides essential infrastructure supporting life on Earth and for human development. In India, which is considered as one of the most diverse countries in the world, we have a lot of species belonging to animals and plants. Diversity doesn't just belong to animals that are huge and significantly seen to eyes. It applies to animals which are minute and also which cannot be seen to naked eye as well. In India, we have huge amounts of species of animals and plants occupying landscapes that are that are very diverse. For example, on the eastern parts, we have the Sundarbans and the rainforests of the northeastern India. Whereas on the contrary to the habitat, on the western parts, we have the dry arid zones of Rajasthan and Gujarat. Again, in the northern region of India, we have the snowflake mountains of Himalayas, and in the southern region, we have the lush green Western Ghats. Having a country with such huge diversity and such huge biogeography, we are expected to have a lot of species of plants and animals and other microorganisms. As you see in the screen, this is a really interesting map of some of the notable wildlife of India and their occurrence in the country. Every year, World Environment Day is highly celebrated by the youth, and the youth play a very important role in transforming this world. One of the main reasons for youth to transform this world is because we are the future and we almost occupy 30% of the current population. Right now, the youth play a huge role in protecting species through research to awareing people about conservation and biodiversity protection. Youth are playing a crucial role in rescuing animals from wild and also treating them to ensure that they don't die. But among all this, we have somehow reached to a position where the world is at standstill. We are in middle of a huge pandemic called the coronavirus. This virus has made us such a huge statement that we now have to take our environment seriously and understand what have we done wrong to come up to this situation. It all rotates around biodiversity and the mistreatment of our natural resources. From cutting down trees to illegally transporting rare animals, we have really put ourselves in a very bad situation. What does the future hold for us? Coronavirus is just, we can say, is one of the foreseen circumstances. We also know that further damages to climate can cause huge climate emergencies, which cannot be fought as we are fighting right now. It takes a lot more of understanding to avoid reaching to that climate emergency. When challenges come, opportunities also come. We will have to speak our voices out. We'll have to inform the government that what's wrong is happening with the environment and the degradation, and we have to ensure that we protect our own earth. I'll right now present you a small trailer of the World Environment Day that has been officially released by the United Nations Environment Program. Hi.
Now more than ever, we are confronted with the fragility of life in our connection to nature and our planet. Nature is showing us that humankind is on the verge of a breakdown. At least 1 million plant and animal species are likely to disappear soon. We are on the verge of a mass extinction unlike anything humankind has ever seen. We rely on nature for our energy, for our food, and everything we need. We can fix this, but only if we act now. It's time to ensure we have a future. It's time for nature.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up!
This World Environment Day.
This World Environment Day.
Tell the world why it's time for nature.
It's time to show our leaders why nature matters.
Together or apart.
Juntos o separados.
Рядом или на расстоянии.
We will unite to make our voices heard.
We will.
Hello, Mr. Gyaneshwar. Hello. Hello, Mr. Gyaneshwar. I think the PPT is frozen.
I'm sorry for the internet connection. Were you able to see the trailer?
We were not able to see the trailer, as well as the slide was also frozen.
Okay.
So you need to
okay,
shut down. You need to shut down the PPT and restart with the video. We haven't seen the slides either. It was just the first page of the slide.
Oh, you haven't seen the slides either? Okay.
So you can do the video again.
Were you able to see the slides?
Only the first slide, but you may continue with the video. I think the trailer would be nice.
Is the video audible and visible now?
It's not audible. You need to switch on the audio control. While you're fixing up with the video, we shall continue. Why is biodiversity themed, and why are we titling it as Time for Nature? Mr. Gyaneshwar could throw a light on that. Why do we say time for nature now, for biodiversity?
Is it audible?
Now more than ever, we are confronted with the fragility of life.
Is it audible now, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You may continue.
Is the trailer audible now?
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay.
Please start.
I'm just starting.
Now more than ever, we are confronted with the fragility of life in our connection to nature and our planet. Nature is showing us that humankind is on the verge of a breakdown. At least 1 million plant and animal species are likely to disappear soon. We are on the verge of a mass extinction unlike anything humankind has ever seen. We rely on nature for our energy, for our food, and everything we need. We can fix this, but only if we act now. It's time to ensure we have a future. It's time for nature.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up!
This World Environment Day,
This World Environment Day.
Tell the world why it's time for nature.
it's time to show our leaders why nature matters.
Together or apart.
Juntos o separados.
Рядом или на расстоянии.
We will unite to make our voices heard.
We won't back down.
We will not back down.
We see real and lasting change to support this beautiful planet we call home.
Y reconectarnos emocionalmente con la naturaleza.
Tag your friends and leaders of corporate.
To be part of the solution.
We need the planet.
It's my planet.
It's time for nature.
It's time for nature.
It's time for nature.
Llegó la hora de la naturaleza.
Was the video audible?
Yes, it was audible. We could see it. It was a wonderful presentation. Time to wake up.
I'm sorry for the internet connections that we have here. It seems like it's going to rain in a bit here, so I think we'll have some problems with the service. However, so like I was trying to convey through the presentation is that this year the theme, the biodiversity, focuses on how we as a country, we as an individual should aim towards protecting our biodiversity and understanding the diverse of species of plants and animals that we have in the country and in the world. It's time for nature, which was wonderfully put, because this is the time for us to understand what we have done to the nature, how the nature is healing back and fighting back with us. What wrong have we done so far to understand and to work on those mistakes? So if I may now, I'll begin with the discussion on. I'm sorry. May I ask Khushi, what would be your opinion on celebrating the World Environment Day?
So my opinion on celebrating the World Environment Day is that, as we all know, World Environment Day is UN's most important day for celebrating worldwide awareness for protecting the environment. The day focuses on each and every environmental issue, from marine pollution to overpollution or global warming. Every year, June 5 is celebrated as World Environment Day with a new theme each year. This year, the theme is Biodiversity, Time for Nature. World Environment Day is an occasion to think how we are a part of nature and how intimately we depend on it for our survival. Time for Nature, with a special focus on celebrating biological diversity and also humans' role in providing the essential infrastructure that supports life on Earth and human technological development as well. The theme biodiversity is extremely relevant because human beings are part of the ecosystem and cannot continue to survive in isolation. Biodiversity is important for the survival of all living things. Everything what we are is coming from nature. The food we are eating, the water we are drinking, and also the air which we are breathing are all coming from nature. We need to take action to save the nature for no one but ourselves. The celebration of World Environment Day provides us an opportunity to each individual and various communities to get involved in some actions and activities for maintaining and preserving our environment. This year, we are contributing the World Environment Day to our various species of plants and animals, that is, biological diversity. Biodiversity conservation can help address the effects of climate change. Biodiversity conservation is vital for economic growth and poverty reduction as well, as majority of people are dependent on plants and animals to earn their livelihood. This year, the celebration of World Environment Day mainly aims at when we overcome this pandemic, every country will be running towards recovering its economy. So I think that we should see this as an opportunity to build back better. That is, focusing on the nature as well. I believe that these good changes which we saw in this lockdown proves us that our nature can be saved if we follow the concept of humanity and also the sustainable development goals. So, understanding the need of the hour, that is conservation of nature, preservation of environment and conservation of biodiversity is really very important. We need to change our mindset towards environment and take it very seriously in order to continue the ecosystem. Thank you.
Can the live be on me, please? Thank. It was really wonderfully put, Kushi, especially when you mentioned about the points on poverty and economy of this country. Exactly, biodiversity is the wealth of the country, and work towards protecting the biodiversity and its biological friends that we have around us. It's important that biodiversity should be taken very seriously by the country uh, and the people of this country. One more interesting thing that you mentioned about is the sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals is something that we supposed to achieve as soon as possible for a better living. It's really wonderful that you mentioned all these points with very limited time you have. Now, if I may, I would like to move on to Gauri. Gauri, please could you add your thoughts on this year's theme, biodiversity and its importance?
Yes, sir, sure. So, biodiversity is the amount of variety of life on Earth. But I personally think that this definition is not complete. When we go out, the flowers we see, the animals all constitute biodiversity. And biodiversity is very important in the well-being of our planet. And we, as the ultimate resource, think that we are the ones who are giving importance to everything. But I think biodiversity is something that gives us importance. Let's take an instance, for example, food. We get food from the plants near us, and that's also biodiversity. And if I give an example from my real life, how biodiversity is flourishing in this pandemic, I think it's amazing. When I look out in the park, I used to think that my brother was the only monkey I saw in my life. I looked into the park, I saw many monkeys playing Tarzan, and about peacocks. The place where I live, it's called Mayur Vihar, but I don't think I ever saw a Mayur, that's a peacock. But now during rain, I'm able to see peacock and photography. It's amazing to do so. And I think that we are dominating this planet. So we need to preserve the diversity in wildlife also. It is actually the time for nature. It's rejuvenating. And as humans, we need to give it back. And why give it back? Let us give it more so that it can become better than ever. And that's all I would like to say.
Thank you very much, Gauri, for your insights into what's biodiversity is and its importance. It's very well constructed. Your thoughts were. It is really true that to build this planet, we need more and better protected biodiversity. The nature is rejuvenating, and we need to give it more. Those are the lines that I was wanting to hear from you. Biodiversity right now is at a stake, is at a threat, and this threat has led us to a pandemic situation that we are at right now. Surya, please could you share your opinion about the pandemic and its link to deforestation and exploitation of the natural resources?
Yes, sir. So, pandemics can be basically understood as an epidemic that reaches worldwide. For understanding a pandemic, we should first learn that what is epidemic. Epidemic are a type of pandemic in a confined area. That is, they are only at a particular place. But what makes them a pandemic are due to migration or traveling. Suppose an epidemic occurs in a particular area, and that area has various airports or it is a seaport. So that area becomes an epicenter for the epidemic to spread and become a pandemic. All the pandemics in the world can occur naturally, and also we know that they can also happen due to human activities. Now we also know that we are continuously killing humans for our uses or controlling their species. And I would like to give the example that we kill animals for their skin or for their products. And an example occurred in our country only, that is Bihar. Around 300 meal guys, we say it in Hindi, and it is only endemic to India, Nepal, and Pakistan. Around 300 of these animals were killed by shooting them on the order of Bihar government. The reason was that their numbers was increasing. So who are we to just kill them with a gunshot? Human population has also rose. It has rose from 1 billion to 2 billion, then 3 billion, and further now to 6 billion. But we don't do this to humans. Then who are we to decide this for animals? Also, coming to the deforestation, we do deforestation on the name of development. That is, we set up industries or we use resources, that is iron ore or we can say titanium ore of a particular area. We say development, not deforestation. And coming to the water also, not only land but we humans have not even left the water also. Eutrophication caused by the factories, oil spills in the sea, which harms the aquatic life. Plastic. Plastic is a major concern today, and it also threatens the life of various organisms. We only get to see that plastic is it is not biodegradable and so on, but many animals swallow it or it can choke their system, and it also does not decompose, leading to soil pollution. Now, why do we forget karma? When we humans do such a harm to nature, we cause deforestation, then we'll get the same in return. That is, now we are seeing its effect. We have a coronavirus pandemic. We recently got Amphan and Nisarg. We recently got Amphan and Nisarg cyclones. Earthquakes are being felt on regular basis. That is, we should remember that what we do is what we will get. So I would just conclude that we should just it's time for nature and we should conserve nature instead of using it.
Thank you, Surya. That was again very well said, especially when you explain the definition of pandemic so clearly and so crisp that I believe that all the audience must have understood what a pandemic is and how an epidemic turns into a pandemic. I also like the way that you compared the lives of and the equal lives of animals and humans. Everyone deserves to be treated equal, may it be humans or animals. As we share this planet with them, we should learn to be compassionate and to coexist. However, I was very moved when you said that deforestation is often labeled as development. A lot of people do not understand that having a biodiversity and conserving the biodiversity and letting it flourish is also development. This development, which cannot be made entirely by humans. It is very important for us to understand all these threats. And when you mentioned about oil spills, it just reminded me that just a day ago, Russia has seen one of the biggest oil spills in its country, 30,000 tons of diesel fuel. This may, if it evaporates, is very toxic into nature. Imagine what this would have done to biodiversity that is surviving in that water body. Plastic pollution is one more challenge that we're facing across the globe. And its link to land pollution. All this sum up and cause a huge deploration of our survival in this world. We are only we are making our only steps to destroy ourselves. What I wanted to talk was when you said the endemic animals are being hunted, it suddenly clicked me that this pandemic has a lot of link to global wildlife trade. Shivansh, please could you tell me your insights into how the global wildlife trade is linked to emergence of such pandemics?
Sure, sir. But before starting with my answer, with my justification, I would like to redefine biodiversity as I thought. We all know Earth is the only planet which supports life, and by life, we do not mean just the biotic component of the environment. Rather, life, according to me, is a broader term in which the organisms coexist and interact with each other as well as the non-living components, thereby coming into the existence. This beautiful relationship between different organisms and Mother Nature should be known as biodiversity. Now, jumping right into the justification, we all may wonder upon what could be the reasons for having pandemics and what do the global wildlife trade and the wet market have to do with it. Considering the current scenario, we all are witnessing probably one of the worst pandemic ever. And as we go back to its origin, it came back from the wet market in the Wuhan city of China, as we all are aware about that. Talking of origins, many people know that the COVID-19 came from bats to humans, but very few of us know that it was not directly transmitted from bat to human, but rather there was an intermediate host, and many studies were then conducted upon the intermediate hosts, and it was found that probably the intermediate host was an animal named pangolin. Now, the interesting fact is that pangolin is the world's most trafficked mammal, and moreover, naturally there are negligible interactions of bats and pangolins in the wild. But in the market, there are very high chances of interaction between animals belonging to different biomes, and therefore there are very high chances of outbreak of a pandemic like this. Digging a little bit more deeper into the topic, people believe that most of the viruses in humans have came from bats, from bats. The few of such viruses are Ebola, Nipah, SARS, MERS, and now the COVID-19. But the researchers have found that we cannot completely blame bats for the transmission of the virus. Rather, the main reason for the development of viruses in the body of bats is that the bat have a strong immune system, due to which they are nearly unaffected by the viruses living in them, and thus many type of viruses get developed in them. But the point is that bats cannot transmit the virus on its own. For example, the Nipah virus only transmits when a person eats a fruit which was earlier bitten by an infected bat, as it transmits through saliva. So we cannot accuse bats of being responsible for the pandemic, and rather we should take a lesson from this pandemic and seek towards taking better steps to conserve the natural biodiversity. I would like to also mention another example of such an epidemic which outbreak in the African regions. In the African regions, the trafficking of primates was very common, and in this case, the primate served as an intermediate host when the virus came from bats to humans, and it was a very bad pandemic, and it has a mortality rate of more than 70%. So we should definitely learn a lesson from this pandemic and seek towards stopping this wildlife trade, and we should uh, we should conserve the natural biodiversity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shivansh. I really enjoyed the way you talked about wildlife trade. Of course, it's a very pathetic situation, the wet markets display, but the points and the insights that you mentioned are very knowledgeable, especially when you redefine the definition of biodiversity. It's just that it is not just limited to biotic components. To let you all know a fact, the global wildlife trade earns about $200 billion annually. Imagine investing such huge amounts of money into forest conservation. We would never be in such a situation. It's it's really good. It was really good to see that you have brought about the mythbuster, that is the bats. Bats do not Bats are not the transmitters of coronavirus entirely. Like you said, there was always an intermediate host, and in this case, it's the pangolin, a species of animal, a very shy and elusive animal which is not usually seen out in the wild, is 100 for its scales and is now considered as the world's most trafficked animal, trafficked mammal. Intermediate wet markets act as epicenters for emergence of such zoonotic diseases. Wet markets is not just limited to wildlife markets, but also to fish and meat. We can't accuse bats of this problem. As you know, bats play a very important role in the ecosystem as pollinators and insect controllers. Looking at all the turn of events, I wonder, is this a wake-up call for us? What have we learned from this situation? Tanvi, do you have some insights into this?
Yes, sure, sir. So I feel that it's been quite some time since the nature has been warning us about the consequences of the actions that we are taking. We've dealt with SARS, MERS, Ebola, Nipah virus, and now we're currently struggling with the coronavirus pandemic. I feel that this pandemic has given us another opportunity to correct our mistakes and realize that all the actions that we're taking are actually harming the nation, harming the nature. This pandemic has raised a question on the healthcare systems around the world. It has taught us to focus on improving our healthcare systems, because the countries which were considered to have like the best healthcare systems are also struggling due to this pandemic. Coronavirus has made us understand that we need to devote resources for the prevention of future pandemics like this, and it has urged the countries to prepare strategies for future lockdowns in such a way that the economy does not suffer much. Then it has also shown our contribution in the air pollution levels in our area. As we can see that during the lockdown in many parts of the world, the air pollution levels came down to an wondrous level. It has made us understand that if we have the will, then we actually can reduce the air pollution levels in our area. Then during this pandemic, we have learned new ways to work and learn, with educational systems moving online and employees working from home. This is something which we wouldn't have thought would happen for quite some time. And it has shown that working from home can be made the new normal for companies who can afford this. This pandemic has also revealed the benefits of virtual space and made us believe that it can help in reducing the pollution levels in the country. Another important lesson which I feel it has taught us is that if we continue to destroy the wildlife habitat and if we continue to overexploit the wildlife, then it is making us more vulnerable to such zoonotic diseases, and such pandemics will occur again in the near future, and they might cause much higher destruction than this one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Tanvi, for this, for the way you spoke about how it was foreseen, the situation that we are at, and even the countries with supposed to be the best in medical healthcare are still struggling. For example, the United States of America and India, we are world's leaders in medical treatments and medical upgradation, but still we are struggling to provide a cure or any sort of intermediate cures. This directly reflects upon our actions, what we have done so far, and how we have exploited the natural resources. It is very true that a lot of our routine activities can be modified in such a way that we can use less of these natural resources. Air pollution, now we are seeing a huge difference in cities, how just because of lack of vehicular movement, cities have become more visible and more clean. This is definitely a wake-up call for us. And like you said, we should fight and voice out our opinion. What should we do when it comes to protection of environment? I always wondered that we can do a lot of activities that just improves our routine. Anandi, would you like to give some insights into this?
Yes, sir. Actually, I believe the first step we can take in protecting our environment is when we will stop confusing our wants with our needs. Quoting Socrates on the same, I would like to say that he who is not contented with what he has will not be contented with what he would like to have. This pandemic is a reminder to our kind that no matter how superior we might be, our technological advancements amount to nothing when compared to the nature. We need the nature and the nature needs us. Hence, we need to find a way to work together. And this is a calling, or rather, we can say it's a warning. So, we need to understand that building malls by creating acres of land is not a need as we perceive it to be. And we need to understand that our wants won't ever have a limit. So we need to know that we have to grow together, and to grow together we need to have an ecological and holistic point of view of development. It's our individual and collective responsibility to preserve and tend the world in which we all live. So to do the same, we first have to educate ourselves. We need to know the flora and fauna that is persisting in our environment, in our surroundings near us, so that we can first of all minimize the harm that we might be causing it unintentionally. And other than this, we can adopt small measures like like purchasing eco-labeled products and using light bulbs that conserve energy. But in the end, I would like to say that even after doing all this thing, the most important thing that we all are forgetting and we all are leaving behind is that we have to come out of this artificial setup that we all have started living in. It's like it's the long forgotten is the ways that our ancestors and elders used to live in, while like they used to live a very natural kind of a life which was much more sustainable than the ways that we are using today. So yes, we should leap forward, and we should leap forward to solve new mysteries. We should jump high onto new grounds, but we should ensure that we do not leave the hands of the past behind us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anandi. Thank you for letting me know what you believe in when it comes to protection of the environment. It's very wonderfully put when you said we have to define our wants and needs. Wants will always increase, whereas our needs will be limited. Our technological advancements, our technological improvisations are nothing when it comes to Mother Earth and its protection. We need to ensure that these natural disasters are fought well before they come to us. We have to grow together, and we have to grow in an ecological and holistic approach. This requires a lot of understanding and a lot of maturity. And to see a 16-year-old to talk about this is very heartwarming. Learning about nature is one more thing that as students and as elders we should always look forward to. We should know what our surroundings are. We should know what our way of life can lead to. Sustainable living, like our ancestors, at this current stage will be challenging, but it will not be impossible. It is possible for us to understand where we can reduce, where we can reuse, and where we can recycle. Talking about the 3 R's, action speaks louder than word. Keshav, please could you list some routine activities that we can do to protect our environment and biodiversity?
Sure, sir. So, well, there are a number of steps that we can take to preserve and conserve our biodiversity. The first and the easiest of them is to become more aware of the resources. So right now, quarantine is going on, and thus we are at our home since a very long time. But this time has also given us a great opportunity to know the amount of resources that we are spending. We can know the amount of gas we are spending while cooking. We can know the amount of water we are using while taking bath or while brushing our teeth, and we can also know the amount of electricity we are consuming on a daily basis. So the second one is correlatable to the first one. It's to practice conservation. With our new awareness on how we are spending our resources, we can also try to limit them. While brushing our teeth, we can try to close the tap. Instead of taking showers, we can use bucket to take bath. And we can also switch off the lights while we are not in a room. So these are very small steps that we all can take. But in the long run, these will not only save our resources, but also will help us in saving our money. The third one is to change our travel habits. So while we are at home, our parents are going on job on daily basis, and thus they are using their transports like cars and bikes. So what else they can do is carpooling. They can use public transports to travel, which would be more beneficial to not only them but to the environment as well, as they can save a lot of natural gas, petrol, and diesel this way. So, bicycling and running and walking is also a great substitution instead of using motorcycles. So, the next one is the most important one. It is the 3 R's of waste hierarchy. The 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, are the part of waste hierarchy which each one of us should follow so that we can consume the waste generated ourselves. Reduce simply means to reduce what is produced and what is consumed, reusing items for a different purpose instead of sending them again to the landfills. To recycle something means that it will be transformed again into a raw material that can be shaped into a new item. So the next step would be to stop littering anywhere. One of the common sights that we see, that we usually get to see, is that there are a lot of waste while we are walking on the road. We can see people spitting anywhere. We can see people throwing plastic bottles anywhere after using, and thus it would be better if instead of throwing them on roads and anywhere, they just throw them in the nearby garbage pits. And we can also take up this time to volunteer and educate. While maintaining social distancing, we all can volunteer in cleaning our societies, our roads, and our gardens. We can thank the sweepers and the cleaners and pay our regards to them for the service that they are doing to us. We can also hold campaigns like we hold in our schools to educate all the people about the value of nature and how we can preserve it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Keshav, for telling us about the simple routine measures that we can do to protect biodiversity and conserve the environment. It's very astonishing how smaller the efforts we can yield bigger results. Like you said, reducing water usage can help a lot in uptake of water by other people. Smaller efforts like using public transport can reduce air pollution. Reducing plastic usage can cause less of landfills. Plastic is one of the biggest problems for biodiversity. A lot of animals eat this plastic and succumb to death, and a lot of plants will not be able to grow because of the plastic that covers their germination process. The 3 R's, the reduce, reuse, and recycle, should be our motto in the years that are coming. And sitting at home, we can do a lot of activities to protect this biodiversity, all the way beginning from running to online campaigns to signing petitions against projects that ruin the biodiversity and deplore our natural resources. So this all brings it to us, the Generation Z. What do you feel our role as youth should be in this, Ayushman?
Yes, sir. I will be happy in doing that. Sir, in my views, biodiversity is the very basis of human survival and economic well-being and encompasses all life forms. Biodiversity is of incalculable value to human health and needs to be conserved. It is therefore necessary to come up with ideas and implement projects for the conservation of biodiversity. And sir, as we all know that this is impossible without education, information, and without raising awareness regarding the importance of biodiversity and its conservation. Conservation of environment is highly important for the good development of social and economic life. Youth have a role to play in environmental and conservation efforts that will improve livelihoods. Sir, youth are the backbone of the nation. They can surely change the future of the society with their well-being and the courageous behavior. And definitely, youth can play a special role in protecting and restoring nature. They are an important constituency in the conservation of biodiversity because they are energetic, technology savvy, constantly involving and oriented to problem solving. Therefore, there is a necessity to create awareness and cultivate the next generation of conservationists. We need to provide opportunities for young people of diverse backgrounds to experience and connect with nature through some awareness program. Sir, there are some points on how youth can save biodiversity by creating awareness about. First is protection, revival, and revitalization of sacred sites. Second is strengthening and support the community conservation areas. Third is monitoring the status of representative ecosystem across the country. And fourth is the most important, reduce, reuse, and recycle. In conclusion, I would like to say that we all need to join our hands to conserve the biodiversity so as to keep our Mother Earth alive. We must follow 3R rule: reduce, recycle, and reuse. We must nurture the nature for our better future. And sir, I am remembering a famous quotation of a well-known poet, E. Wilson. So I would also like to share with you that we should preserve every scrap of biodiversity as priceless, while we learn to use it and come to understand what it means to humanity. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Ayushman. Thank you very much for telling the role that youth play in this, in the challenge that we're about to face. Youth are the backbone and youth are the future for this country. If we don't act now, when can we? This is our life ahead, filled with challenges of natural disasters and lots more. We have to educate ourselves and take an oath to educate our fellow youth in understanding the consequences if we don't respect the nature. Our voices will be heard louder and stronger only when we all collectively speak about it. This has been a very wonderful discussion, talking to all the panelists who have given their beautiful insights and very knowledgeable and insights into this. I must say that I'm very much impressed with the way the youth right now that I'm seeing on my screen have come up with their answers, which is such a great knowledge. Now, I will like to conclude this session and go up for the questions that have been posted to us to answer. Swati ma'am, please could you direct us towards that?
Hello once again. There are a couple of questions which are very interesting. Some of these questions are probably answered while the discussion was on. There's one child by the name Sayan Nath. He's asking, what do you think would be the result of pandemic on the amphibians and reptiles?
Sorry, ma'am, I couldn't get the name of the student.
Sayan Nath.
Sayan. Hi. It's a very interesting question. What would this pandemic impact be on amphibians and reptiles? Amphibians face a huge problem currently with the climate change because of rising temperatures. Since they're cold-blooded animals, their dependence on nature is ultimately upon the heat. So if there is a rise in temperature, it will eventually lead to extinction of a lot of species. And pandemic situations like this is only a pathway for us into the global climate change. And pandemics will also adversely affect these animals. It adversely affect the animals' aftermath. For example, something that we have seen recently is that roadkills. A lot of animals, because of previous to the pandemic, especially the reptiles and amphibians, have seen roadkills, mainly because of over vehicular traffic. Right now, we are seeing a very reduced number of vehicles moving around, and the roadkills also eventually decreasing. But once the pandemic goes back into its normal state, once we go back into our normal state, the vehicular movement will again resume, which will again threaten the population. Right now, a lot of species of animals are thriving in this pandemic, but when we are going back to routine, we may fear that we will need to ensure that whatever guidelines that we are following now should be minimalized to such an effect that we are able to coexist with them.
All right. That was wonderful and can understand this. There's one boy called Pratyaksh. He has posted in an observation. He said that,
Okay.
sir, I have observed that countries like USA and Europe, countries of Europe, send their non-biodegradable waste to China, and China out of this makes toys and many other plastic products, which are exported to India and other such countries. And also it is then making hills of plastic. That is a wonderful observation made by Pratyaksh. The next question which we have here is, a pandemic can be understood as a result of the destructive things that we have done to nature, because it is said that what we will give to nature, we will directly get the same thing back. Is it? This is from Vibhuti Bhardwaj.
Yes, Vibhuti, exactly. We will all our actions reflect upon what reflected upon us right now, because like my fellow panelists informed, how the global wildlife threat, how the deforestation and forest degradation activities has linked to this pandemic. We should ensure that all these activities are checked and stopped wherever and whenever is necessary.
Well, there is one more child. The name
Yes.
is not visible, and
Okay.
the person is saying that you would have had amazing moments while you were practicing and training for herpetology. Have you had any dangerous moment while you dealt with snakes?
So dealing with snakes, again, I should mention that dealing with snakes is very dangerous. It's dangerous mainly because of lack of knowledge. And if you are able to understand what the species is it venomous or non-venomous, and how its behavior is, it is not really dangerous. You can understand them. This comes with a lot of training and education, of course, and I wouldn't really recommend a layperson or someone who's new into this field would ever handle an snake. I've, of course, had few dangerous times, mainly because lack of my presence of mind at that situation. Snakes do not harm unless and until we provoke them. I always correct people that snakes don't attack, snakes defend, just like every other animal. Every other animal, if it enters into a human habitation, they should be categorized as defensive, but not attacking, because all they are trying to do is either flee or defend themselves in the conflict situation they were at.
All right. And another child says, what is your advice if one wants to pursue research in future?
I would really vouch for that. I would really request a lot of you to understand this concept and get into research, not particularly wildlife, but you can get into research in any applied and life sciences. My recommendation for you would be to study your science at school and post your school periods, and then even at your bachelor's level. There are a lot of institutions that offer science as degrees. For example, the zoology, chemistry, and biology, zoology, chemistry, and botany as a subject in bachelor's level. And in master's level, you can go more specific. In Delhi itself, there are a lot of universities that offer courses in wildlife conservation. For example, the Amity University in Delhi and the Delhi University offer courses in wildlife conservation. There are always other opportunities for you to approach research, mainly with your self-interest and learning. I would recommend that you read more and more on your interested topic through internet and proceed further.
Fine. There's one child who says, sir, how can we contribute for our environment in this lockdown?
Like we just concluded upon, a lot of things can be done while we are at home, while we are at lockdown. Contribution may not be significant. It can be minute, and it can be from a personal point of view. Even a little bit of conserving water and electricity is a big contribution to biodiversity protection. In addition to this, there are a lot of online petitions. There are online campaigns that are running where you can read about them and support if you think they are correct. For example, looking at the way the Dibang Valley right now is being treated is very pity. So we need to understand what this such natural resources are and how we can support, how we can protect them by sitting at home. Very much.
Well, that was the last question that we have posted, and I really thank the audience for having listened to this wonderful discussion, which was very enlightening and awakening. It's a wake-up call for each one of us. It's time for nature, and I would like to just read through it. I was going through something that is related to pandemic, that the emergence of COVID-19 has underscored the fact that when we destroy biodiversity, we destroy the system that supports human life. And today, we estimate globally that there are more than 1 billion cases of illnesses and millions of deaths occurring from diseases such as coronaviruses. And about 75%, this is very worrying actually, that 75% of all emerging infectious diseases in humans are zoonotic. That is, they are being transmitted to people by animals. So you see, dear friends, students, and everyone present here, nature is sending us a message. This is a time to wake up and do something about it in our own little sweet ways. Thank you so much, Mr. Gyaneshwar, for having been here. And I now request my Honorable Principal, sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
All right. Thank you, Swati ma'am, for giving me an opportunity to address here. Greetings to all on this World Environment Day. Though I believe that we must celebrate our each day as Environment Day because of the simple reason that the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat all form our environment. It gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks for the first of its kind in-house webinar that we have conducted successfully this evening. Bal Bhavanites are always one step ahead when it comes to the environment, and their spirit and enthusiasm has been well displayed in their thoughts today in this discussion. I take this opportunity to thank our esteemed moderator for the webinar, Mr. Gyaneshwar ji, for sparing out time to be with us this evening and show us the way forward. Sir, your views and opinions on the theme of today's webinar, Pandemic and Biodiversity, Will Humans Learn from Current Situation, has certainly paved a way forward for all of us to critically examine our actions and bring immediate amends to ensure that the beauty of this planet is not lost. I congratulate our students panelists for the webinar that went very, very successfully, and for sharing their concerns with us and how they as youth can be instrumental in bringing the change. I feel that, with such enthusiastic youth, we certainly can look forward to have a positive impact on the environment. Students, you are the change leaders, and it is you who have to ascertain that we take every precaution to ensure that the beauty of this planet is restored. Kudos to all of you from my side. I thank our mentor, Shri Bibi Gupta ji, director of the school, for always showing us the path to move ahead and achieve the best. Mrs. Kavita ma'am, the headmistress of the school, and all the coordinators for their continued support in promoting students' learning. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Microsoft partner, Joanna Technology, and their team for enabling us to host this webinar successfully. Special thanks to my colleague, Mrs. Swati Poonanand, for being the perfect host to the webinar. Thank you, ma'am. I wholeheartedly congratulate and thank my team, Mrs. Hayat Fatima, Eco Club in charge, Mr. Sumit Diwan for providing technical support in successful completion of this webinar, Ms. Jatinder Kaur, Ms. Sakshi, Mrs. Neelam, Ms. Rehna, and Mr. Rahul for their continued support in planning, preparing, and promoting this webinar. I would also take this opportunity to thank all the parents and the audience for their continued trust in us and for their valuable cooperation. I feel proud that all members of the school fraternity are always at front to take up new challenges and emerge as winners. I feel delighted that today we have successfully completed this webinar that was first of its own kind. This has certainly added to our enthusiasm and motivation to try out new things in future as well. I once again thank all the members of the school community from core of my heart for making this webinar successful. Thank you so much.